Patricia. Patricia.
Andrew's definitely coming. I talked to him on the phone yesterday.
Yeah, I talked to him too. He said he'd be here, so he's the furthest, I think, so
Yeah.
he'll probably be here. Okay, we're set, Jeff, whenever you're ready.
Okay, see Craig joined, and I did hear you say you thought Andrew was coming.
Yeah, he is. The only one I don't know about is Patricia, so.
Okay, alrighty. So we'll open the Audit and Finance Committee meeting for this morning. I will skip the chairman's comments and we'll go right into the agenda items. Review of financial statements, and you guys provided several pages of, I guess, financials that look like they were almost in a GL format.
Yeah. Did you get my email this morning?
No.
Oh, okay. I sent an email this morning in the packet for, these guys have the right one here, but for yesterday, we sent the profit and loss from QuickBooks instead of Jim's profit and loss and balance sheet. So I did send them out about a half hour ago. So you do have Jim's reports instead of just the QuickBooks report. That might be a little more confusing, but yeah.
No,
so
it's fine. I mean, you can navigate through it and figure it out. But so I guess as I was looking through it, and I'll open it up if you guys want to make any commentary, you know, because you had a pre-committee discussion about these meetings. But one question I have is just a general limited question. The CDs that we have, are they in the name of OCCRC or are they in the IDA?
There's one in the CRC, yeah, because we took money from the CRC's checking account to make that CD. So the one that's at, well, we have one existing at Community Bank that's in the IDA, but the recent one that we did is CRC. And then the one at MBT was money that was IDA money.
Because when I look at the interest income on deposits, it doesn't balance to what the number should be. So I was wondering if it was carried in the OCCRC statement.
Yeah, so it's in the CRC, and when Jim has access to QuickBooks Online for the IDA, but if he does CRC, he has to come in office because we don't have QuickBooks Online for CRC. So I can get that balance sheet for you when he comes in next. But he has.
That's okay. As long as it's posting correctly to the
and then if you go
corner, it's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. Jeff, I have a question. CD, the interest income is not going to be credited until they mature. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And the questions.
Any points of interest or comments that the staff or Cheryl would like to make after your discussions?
I would just point out, I guess, July kind of a slow month, but those pilot admin fees that haven't been billed for, we just started that process yesterday, so we should get some of them back in August. Most of them will probably come in September. And then we also haven't billed the CRC for those admin fees yet. We usually do that later in the year. So that's another 144 that should be coming in at some point. So.
Right. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, for me.
Okay. Next on the agenda, new and unfinished business.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
Sorry, it's Craig.
Yeah, Craig. Go ahead.
How to find my mute button on this thing, so unmute and mute. So the question, so the cash is correct, $1,750,000 on the that's our cash on hand.
Yeah.
And that's not CRC, or is that all?
No, this is just IDA.
Okay. And is there a reason why we keep $1 million in cash inside in our checking account?
I mean, we took some of that. Well, actually, no, we didn't take any from Community Bank. We could talk again about doing a CD. I think that we kept most of it because of Richfield Springs.
Right.
I think that was the thought process behind it. I know that that's moving along, so we could talk again about doing another CD. But
well, wait a minute. Two things. There was a $600,000 or $700,000 bogey for Richfield that we thought we wanted to retain, but we also talked about the net difference in the cash. And I thought it was, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but 2 meetings ago, I thought we had said we were going to look at peeling off another 300 or 400,000. We're going to do a second tranche. Do you recall that?
I do, but it just doesn't seem that anything's been moved, you know.
No.
Okay.
No, good.
Nothing's been
Time
moved, but
time
I'm
is of
happy
an essence in a lot of this
to
stuff,
move
I
it.
think. Don't you, Jeff?
Absolutely.
You know,
We can talk about it.
and it doesn't need to be a CD. I mean, just a good money market is 5%. So, I mean, we talked about that
Might
a
have
year
been,
ago.
might have been yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, Jeff, if you want to talk after the meeting, I'm happy to.
Yes,
discuss
let's do that
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff, let me ask you a question. I think there is some concern that CD interest rates could start dropping, correct?
Yes, they already have.
Yeah.
That's I think Craig's point. There's some importance to getting it done quicker rather than later.
Exactly.
It's a click of a button, you know, pretty much.
Right.
A couple zeros and so.
I agree 100%.
Well, I would like to have the staff understand, what I'm guessing is, the sense of the board is idle money is not a wise thing. It should be
Correct.
somewhere making money. Money
Correct.
market, CD, but for us to have to keep talking about when interest rate 3 years ago was 2% or 1.5% or
less.
0.98, it was less significant. Now it's one of the ways, we need to have that money working.
Yeah.
All of our expenses have gone up and we need to make it wherever we can. Not being responsible with the public money if we don't put it to work. So
Is that
Correct.
something from our CFO for hire, that they have services around kind of investment strategies? I don't want to put it all on like Jeff or the board, right? But I also understand that you guys probably don't bring that skill set. So I don't know if that's something maybe engaging them to just understand, hey, do you guys have these recommendations or services that potentially could be either added on or could be part of what we're already paying for?
And even.
To evaluate cash flow and
Yeah,
understand.
and even what's in reserve for Richfield could have been in the money market
Sitting and waiting.
Right.
forever. I mean,
Right.
sitting in the bank, money in cash, cash and bank doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So we put it to work.
So yes, Megan, let's
We can do that.
get together and have a conversation, and please have both updated balance sheets
Yes.
when we do that. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
My next comment would be, I know Jeff was part of this and so was Cheryl was towards the end of it, but I do give kudos with that statement that I made about doing something with that money, and the kudos to what this looked like. I mean, time has flied. It might be 8 years ago. I don't know. 7 years ago, 10.
Yeah.
It was not looking as flush as we are now. So, which I would think would keep us. I don't know if the word is less conservative, but being so conservative to get back to where we were, Jeff, to where we were before 10 years ago or whatever that time frame was. I just think it's positive for the whole board. And before that, the IDA took a lot of time for a lot of local businesses and did a lot of good things, I thought, before my time on the board. I was part of that. But I think that Jody and the staff and Cheryl and Jeff and some of the past members have done a good job. So looks good. It's nice seeing money in the account. We were going the other way very quickly, weren't we, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
So that's
it was
positive.
that old saying when the guy falls off the building, right? When the guy sees him going down, oh my God, how are you? He says, so good, or good so far, but he didn't hit the bottom yet. And that was our trajectory. We were falling off a cliff for sure.
Right. And kudos to the people who chose to stay on the board and muscle through that time and didn't want to go down with the ship, as it was sinking quickly. It takes a lot of muscle to do that. People like to jump off that, get on the lifeboat first, so, and I know those who didn't, so that's very good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the CDs and money markets that we currently have, a byproduct of, this is the end of last year, I think, Jeff and the committee looking at cash flow.
Yeah.
And so we're where we are based on the information we have. Now we're in a different situation, maybe where
Yeah.
it does make sense to go back and.
Especially the money market with the
Yeah,
the ability to get in it.
Yep.
I mean, when you run a business, you should be looking at that almost daily or weekly. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it's not a like go back and look at it at a committee meeting. To be honest with you, Dave, you look at this thing and it's a continuous continuous conversation daily with your head of your finance committee or whoever you have, and moving that money, because it literally is a click of a button for making, making your money work. And we're not making our money work out in the field anymore, which we used to do, which the IDA used to do. So we need to do the right thing and make our money work whatever way we can, which maybe ultimately someday good IDA, we could become the IDA we used to be, which was out in the field and taking a little bit of risk and helping business and moving forward if we, keep this cash flow going. So.
Yes, absolutely, Craig. I think that's the conversation we've been having too, is when you look at the cash that we have, is how do we start reinvesting now in more economic development, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl. And you're and we have the right leadership now to make it happen. Good. Thank you. That was it.
Thanks, Greg. So let's hop into the new and unfinished. And IAXIS is on here with 2 bullet points, and one of them says rear building repair estimate, and the other says loading dock replacement. And I know we got invoices or estimates or bids or whatever you want to call them from various contractors. Do you guys want to speak to that, or do you want us just to kind of free for all it?
Well, for the rear building repair for IAXIS, we are using the company that we used last time. It's not the same section, it's a different section, so, so Jody recommends just going with that since they already did the work on part of it. And then for the loading dock replacement, Jody is just recommending going with the lowest bid, which would be the concrete works bid.
Okay, so question around the JMS did the last one. I thought, and if I recall, there weren't a lot of bidders on the last one.
Yeah, I think there were 2.
And we decided to go with them for their knowledge, but we don't have a requirement to bid other potential contractors.
Yeah, I think that Jody wanted to do it just because they did the work before and they did a good job, I guess, per Chad Hall at IAXIS.
Yeah, I asked yesterday, Jeff, if there's any regulatory requirements to go to bid, and he did not feel that there was.
I think
Okay.
under $10,000, you
Yeah,
don't
that's
have to
what-
go out to bid.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a procurement level, but and certainly there's some good logic in using somebody who knows the project or the property, done work before, and we were satisfied. So that's good. All right. So the other recommendation is to go to concrete works. I saw several bids, and it didn't look like they were all like apples to apples.
Yeah.
Some were bidding.
Yeah,
Some were bidding asphalt versus concrete, and even the specs for concrete works versus Patriot Masonry were a little bit different. Like one of them was 25 by 10 by 6, one was 31 by 10, and it didn't tell me how the depth. It told me the PSI. So I don't know if all of you got a chance to look at that, but I'm personally, I don't know either of the, I haven't personally been involved with either of their work. I assume they're both very good at what they do. So going with the lower cost to me is fine.
Yeah, that was essentially our conversation yesterday, Jeff, is that essentially the work is, well, the bid doesn't look exactly the same for the same outcome, and that's why he just recommended the lowest bid.
We also agreed to go with concrete instead of asphalt. Correct.
Yeah, we decided that last meeting.
Any other thoughts or comments on the recommendation from staff?
Just be detailed in your contract and make them follow the contract. It's pretty simple. Just be detailed. Try to dot your I's and cross your T's as best as possible. And if you need help with that, we've paid enough engineering companies to help us out, I would think. Oh, that's it.
This is
Great,
a
thanks.
really simple job for a concrete contractor.
Yeah, exactly.
Really simple job.
Okay, so we are all in agreement with the recommendation. So thank you for that. Apple converting is the next item on renewing lease. Let's talk about that.
Just letting you know that Apple Converting has decided to renew their lease. It starts in September. It's a 5% increase on what they're paying us
1 year, right?
for 1 more year, correct?
Was that a renewable option that was in the previous lease?
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you recall, we were still
Hoping.
anticipating and hoping they might exercise their right to purchase. I think with what's going on potentially on the regulatory side, they're still somewhat cautious on doing that, but maybe in year 3.
That's the black ink question.
Yeah.
Can't make
Okay,
that.
so if and obviously they're not exercising the purchase option, but they are exercising a renewal option. So that's good news.
Yes, yeah.
And retirement options.
So, Jody had a meeting with, I forget his name, Jason Tabor, he
Yep.
works downstairs, at Allied. He sent over some comparisons of, 401k or SEP IRA and a simple IRA. So Jody doesn't have a recommendation right now. He just was sending those out to the board. And he will have one for the board, he said.
Yeah, if anyone has any strong thoughts, please feel free to send them my way when we meet, but I really just didn't necessarily feel like it was necessary to discuss today until Jody really has had a chance to review and determine what his recommendation is.
Right. And I think it's relative. I am not by any stretch an expert in retirement planning, but I think it's simple because of the staff level.
Yes.
I did, just so the board knows, I took the information and I'm running it by a benefit plans administration company that our bank owns. Just from a look at this, review this, are there any other recommendations for
Great.
consideration kind of thing?
Perfect, Jeff. So if you want to send that along to me, or if you want to send it directly to Jody, whatever you feel most comfortable with, that would be great.
Yes, certainly will. I just sent it out when I received the packet, so I haven't heard back yet, but as soon as I do, I will.
I think it seems like we should just go with 401k. I mean, that's the most standard.
That is not what Jason is recommending, so that's why, again,
I get it.
taking a step back and just reviewing.
Because
and
the
no,
admin fees for just, because Jody's pretty much taken care of, so it's really for staff, so the admin fees versus the amount of staff that we have, I think that's why he's not leaning that way.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, I think, like I'm just thinking about the on my side, the clerk entities, all of them are 401ks except for the nonprofit side are 403bs.
Yes, I think that's where Jody was leaning,
401k
but needs to run the math on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
seems like. the
Yeah,
most-
it's all a cost benefit analysis, I think, and at some point it's cost prohibitive with administration and advisory services and all the things that have to go along with a 401k. So
Yeah.
well, but it again, we should look at all the recommendations and we'll make a decision.
Yes.
However, money costs are one thing, but also in looking forward for the employee down the road, portability. You take your 401k with you, simply it's yours, so,
I think all these options you
You can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the main thing is that the fees for these other options are being passed on to the employee. And that's the hard part of this, because I think as the employee, I know there's a hard upfront cost to the employer, but the benefit is that the employee isn't having to pay any fees.
I don't think they have to either for the set.
So let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
these,
So that's right, so that's why, again, it's weighing that.
let's get the analysis from the experts that Jeff has sent the information to.
Yeah.
And then we talk about it at the end of the month,
And-
right?
Right, and we'll like I said, I'll funnel through Cheryl and then we can have a further discussion about it. Yeah,
Perfect, thank you.
you're welcome.
By the way, who was Jody talking to before? Like
It was been Jason.
it's always been Jason. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I don't think the name was ever raised before.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, With that, I think that's it, unless anybody else has any other comments or things they'd like to bring forward. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All right. All those in favor, we're out.
And then go to government. Yeah, so since we have Larry's on, why don't we go ahead and go to the projects?
And then we'll go back to the.
Okay, project committee meeting is up and running. I have no comments. Do we have an update on Richfield? We're shoveling dirt,
Yes, we are shoveling.
trimming trees, or doing something.
Yes, they're clearing the land right now to allow the surveyor to stake out the boundaries. I assume that may be done, based on Jody's report, or they're doing it right now. So there are updates on the first page of Richfield that basically just say NICEAG has submitted additional information to, the PSC. As you guys know, we hired Lawson Surveying to do the survey, and put the stakes out. The water agreement was made by the town. If Larry wants to touch on this, he probably knows more about it than I do. That will expedite the water and sewer district. I don't know if Larry.
Morning, everybody. How are we doing?
Good morning.
Good, Larry, how are you?
Good, Larry.
Good. So we had, Jody came out to the village meeting 2 weeks ago, I think. And I invited the entire town board to join that meeting. And so the village board and the town board and Jody, we kind of hammered out through some sticky points that have been slowing this thing down. And I introduced in a special meeting this past Monday the resolutions intending to initiate creation of the water and sewer tax districts, which the village is insisting on prior to them signing the IMAs. The IMAs are mostly finished. There's still a lot of review work that is left in there for the village attorney, but I think that's basically the village has got to tell her to take it out of there. So published, I haven't published this week, notice for a public hearing to consider the creation of the two tax districts, one for water, one for sewer. They have to be done separately. And I think we're on a really accelerated timetable that, we're kind of bulling this through at the end. I just received the latest version of the map plan and reports, which are kind of key documents to get all of this process put in place. And our attorney still has some concerns with those. He's trying to get connected with Keystone, who controls those reports, and they're not reaching back out to him. Jody's been aware of this. So, I mean, we are really on the edge of getting this work done for you guys. And I was a little bit surprised. It came to my attention by accident that we're no longer considering switching the water lines from the steel that's spec'd out to the more modern, I call it plastic. There's a term for it. It's HPVE or something like that, which my understanding is a superior water line material and less expensive to install. And the understanding has always been that there was going to be a change order switching over to that, but Jody let me know that the decision's been made not to do that, and that's a little discouraging. I don't know how my board's going to react to that when they read through those reports. But we're moving as fast as we can to get this done and get these things in place for you guys to meet your EDA requirement and get your funding opportunity with them put in place.
Any comment about that?
I think that's probably a take back, I guess.
Yeah,
Larry, I just have a question for you. The information that you got about the more advanced modern piping, where is that coming from? Somebody in the village or water department or your engineers?
Well, we don't have engineers.
Okay,
We've been totally dependent on IDA to provide all of this.
right.
The village is changing their ordinance. The town attorney actually does a lot of work in municipal water and infrastructure. And they've been, we've been talking about this for 4 years, that the plastic pipes are just better. One of our board members actually runs a plumbing and electric company, and he says steel is the quality of today's steel just isn't what it was, and they have a lot of problem with steel systems, and that these more modern systems are not only cheaper to put in, but they're just more reliable and they're easier to repair. So it feels like it's an opportunity to spend some money and buy a better system, but I think Jody's doesn't want to mess around because EDA has already approved the plans that are there.
Right.
And I just wanted, I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. That might be a problem at my end, but I'm hoping it's not.
So Larry, I'm kind of struggling with some of the language here. So I understand, that you guys are moving this forward, and I think you're obviously trying to do everything you can. But if you don't get this done, I think we're on the same page. This doesn't move forward, right? I mean, I think that's our understanding. If you're saying that there might be some problems, you're trying to move forward, do you think it's going to get done or not, is my question. And I'm on the county board, obviously.
Sure.
This project is important, for the county, for your district. Keith McCarty's been in touch with me. It sounds like there's been some issues, and I'm trying to figure out, is this going to move forward or not? Because obviously I'm appointed to this board as a county representative, so I want to make sure this moves forward. But ultimately it's the town and village that are key to this.
I think it was pretty clear at the meeting where we joined the village that all of the officials want to see this happen. So I'm going to say, yes, this is going to move forward.
Okay, great. Larry, I want to see this move forward. I think it'll be great. And, I appreciate all the work you're doing on it. So thank you.
Well, thank you for the patience your board showed and your perseverance. I think we're all ready to stop talking about the Ridgefield Business Park and watch it get occupied.
Only we'll talk about it when it's done. How's that?
I know the dozers are there. I had a resident that has some concerns about some of the work that was going on, and Jody gave me the contact at Hunt Engineering, and they're reaching out to that resident to deal with. So I know things are moving forward.
Right. That actually is one of my bigger picture questions. Jody had talked about ribbon cutting at some point, and I did see Cindy Andela at an event a couple of weeks ago, and I just wondered, can we revisit that? Are we going to do that?
I think we can revisit it. I don't see why not.
I mean, I know that I assume Larry, the village and town would be interested in something like that. I know Cindy Andela would be interested.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for the county and good for the IDA. And I don't think it matters that the clearing is started. I mean, it could happen
Right.
at any point of the project.
Yeah.
We need 2 trees.
Well, I'd like to get the town stuff all behind us before I go to any ribbon cutting ceremony.
I'm sorry, what was that, Larry?
I'd like to get the town work behind me.
Got it.
Tax districts and the IMAs, get all of that work that the town's responsible for behind me. I know our expenses are running quite a bit higher than I was anticipating for this. There's been a lot more legal wrangling that's going on. And, we still we're on the 3-yard line. We're ready to punch it into the end zone, but there's still some more legal stuff that's got to go in. So, but yeah, no, the ribbon, that sounds like it'll be a fun event.
Good. My concern with changing specs on the pipe is it could cost us a year to go back through and get all approvals. We're committed the way it is, and
Yeah, I think I think we probably should understand that from our perspective, just to make sure if that's,
we get done.
Yeah.
We all want a ribbon cutting ceremony too. Want to finish something. It'll be nice. All right, anything else?
So,
Project Director Wade?
let me ask one question, just quickly. Obviously, we said that the county and the village and everybody we're all the same vested interest in this, but certainly Cindy Andela is. And I noticed here that she had in the plan that she had notified that she's going to begin construction in spring of 25. I assume that means she has a commitment ready to go it would be odd to me to see a construction commitment to build a building without having a sewer and water district finalized. I'm sure there's contingencies there, but do we know the detail behind that, or
I know, I don't know anything about where Cindy is with her project. It would seem to me it would be funny that a bank would even commit to financing when there wasn't even a business site, pad site ready for her to begin construction, but.
Or certainly a huge contingency subject to section.
You're
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I know we've got a Dunkin' Donuts that's gonna be coming into the town. And they were planning on starting construction in June, and they still haven't done anything, and it's August, so. I think these construction projects just tend to drag along a little bit for various reasons. You know, the NICEAG gas thing was concerned too. I know that you guys have hired a consultant to help push that along. The last I knew, we weren't even on the schedule to be talked about in the Public Service Commission. We made it through the administrative law judge, but you know, we need to get to the table to make sure we've got natural gas to this site.
Yeah, and we feel it's not ideal, but relatively comfortable that might have to come in after the fact in terms of that, but again, feeling the idea and the appropriate action right now is to start the work, so definitely on our radar as well, Larry, regarding NICEAG for sure.
Is there any movement on the business park? The rail yards, the company that's gonna,
Talking about that in
Okay.
executive session.
About the business park and executive
Business park,
session, for the rail yards, I know that, not Larry, Rich Brimmer has been down there and they've started, clearing that road, to start, start paving on the other half. So, and Dave asked me yesterday about clearing land, we had a long conversation about, clearing land down in the rail yards, which I think after we talk in executive session, maybe we can go into that a little bit more.
okay,
And the survey's happening for the piece of property.
Oh,
so
yes.
Piece of property.
Strip of.
For the
Yes.
strip of land.
yeah.
When you say did we set, there's no price on that yet, or it's just
I don't think so.
We're gonna have an appraisal.
The price of, oh,
Yeah.
no, like the cost of.
Yeah, we don't- okay, we're just, so a survey is happening, but we don't know any kind of appraised cost or what.
Jody
I
talked
think
about
we're
having
gonna
an appraisal
separate it out,
done,
yeah.
so we can
Yeah.
fix the price.
Yeah, correct.
Seems silly for such a small person.
Yeah.
And then I just want to update from an innovation center standpoint, I think that's still at a standstill, keeping Jody focused on ED director position and getting that hired, before we really determine what the vision is for the innovation center.
Right.
And that's out, we have one candidate, so.
Okay, any doing business this for now?
One thing I just been wondering is, just with the Richfield Springs project, can we just try to get a little bit more frequent updates? You know, just
Yeah.
especially at this time.
Okay.
You know, because I think, we had our county board meeting yesterday and, you know, it just would be helpful.
Would you like to
if-
know something?
Yeah, if, you know, whether it's you or Jody is just kind of saying, you know, weekly is fine. I'm not talking about daily at all, but just at the end of the week, hey, here's where we're at. This is where, you know, the whatever. I honestly, I don't care.
Yeah,
If
I
you
know,
just
and I don't
tell
know
us
if he gets
what.
like a contractor's report weekly on their progress, that might be able to just kind of.
Just
Yeah, anything at this point, because I think, you know, it'd be great just to know
Mhm.
where we're at.
And everybody in the chain, I mean, the town really should know, it should be
Everybody.
constant communication.
Yep.
I mean,
Get
usually
everybody on
contractors
board.
do like a weekly or
Yeah.
a bi-weekly report, so.
Yeah, if we had somebody kind of clerk of the works, but I don't think we really have that position, right?
Yeah, we do, we have, and
You
the,
did, right?
I think Hunt is doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's.
I'd be interested in being included on that as well, so I can respond to questions from the community.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's, we said that, absolutely. It's a simple project. So the engineering firm
Well,
can
to me-
easily oversee.
To me, the project is one issue, but it's all the ancillary things that are,
Correct,
the
yeah.
planes are in the air yet, we gotta get landed.
That's why they
We
don't
don't
need
know,
to add in
that's
what's
where an
happening
update
with
from
what's happening
the
with.
office, yeah.
The easy part of this
Is
is the
project.
project
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Getting to the project is the hard part.
Another new one, unfinished business.
I was gonna mention that we have two businesses that approached us to do CDBG grants for them. One in the town of Oneonta and one in the city of Oneonta. So next steps would be me moving forward to the town and to the county to see if they would be willing to be the municipalities on those CDBG grants.
Is this an executive session discussion or not?
Well, I don't think it is, because I'm gonna be going to the town and the village anyway, not village, town and the county anyway. But I
We're
didn't
just
know
not
if
gonna
we
share
should,
names of businesses.
I didn't wanna bring up the names from the businesses just in case, they don't move forward with them. I think they both are, but just something I'm letting you guys know
Sizable,
about.
existing businesses to grow, or what?
They're, yes, both of them are already business owners in both the town and the city. And they are expanding their businesses into not the new locations. One in a new location, one in an existing location. And so, once I go to the town and the county, I can kind of give more information about it, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have about it, but they're relatively small in comparison to like IRI Access, CDBG, and the custom electronics. They're both about 100 to 180,000 in grant awards, so $450,000 projects.
And you're looking at, feel like you have the capacity to be able to do it.
Yes.
And then we get obviously administrative fees.
I do feel like we have the capacity, we would get admin fees from both of them. And so I think both projects are wins, but one though is we've never had the county as a municipality behind CDBG besides
Well, no,
micro
we-
enterprise.
Didn't we, Springbrook Springbrook applied for, I think the county did an application for Springbrook. I don't think the IDA touched that one, but
Yeah, but this would be the idea approaching them to be the
Right.
municipality. We've done it with the town with
Yeah.
custom and iron
Yeah.
access, but we
No,
haven't
but-
done it with the county. So,
Yeah,
but I
no.
feel like with our relationship with micro, we're already in HCR.
right,
You
as
know,
long,
wheelhouse.
yeah, I think that, I'm just thinking back to the scenario with Springbrook, they basically said they would do all the administration, so
Yeah.
the county didn't take any administration fee on that.
Right, because they,
So I
they're
mean,
just
I
a
think that would be
municipality
your,
That'd be
your
question.
point to the county that,
that we're
to
doing.
Tammy, that this office would do all the administration, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the planning department wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
There's some work on the county's end, but it would be
Correct,
minimized
yeah.
by if you're doing the administration.
Just quick clarification, we're gonna contact the county and the town, and
Correct.
the two private enterprise people have not contacted either one.
No, they have not. They
Okay.
came to us
And a question,
as to admin.
answer my question.
Well, if we could facilitate something, I would feel good about having a mission we actually help with.
They're both really good projects and
Good.
so
Good.
I'm happy to do.
Anything
it.
else,
No.
project wise? Motion to adjourn?
No, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Just curious, how many calls do you get in a month from our sign out on I-88?
Well, we're gonna go into executive session and we're gonna talk about the Oneonta Business Park, Craig, and we can maybe answer some questions on it.
Well, I just curious how many calls you get. Do you get calls from that sign?
I don't personally know.
No, nobody gets them. Okay.
You can take them down.
No,
Let me see, if you had to draw line to line, you wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Governance?
Yeah, so we're to our governance committee, and I guess I know on our agenda here, we have retirement plans and vacation with part-time employees, but retirement plans, it sounds like we're not taking any action.
We're not taking action on it. I actually crossed that off on our
Okay.
agenda. We already touched
So-
on it on finance.
The main thing to discuss is vacation for part-time employees.
We talked about this yesterday. If anyone has any, comments on it, please feel free to send them to Jody. But, basically, when we redid the handbook and we added all of the, family leave in there, which I don't know when that was, probably about a year ago, I guess. We didn't put anything in for part-time employees, and I thought we had discussed it, and so I was surprised that there was nothing in there. But basically just figuring out sick time and vacation time for part-time employees, since we do have a part-time employee. So we had a quick discussion on it yesterday. I don't think we really landed on anything, but if anyone has comments on part-time employees and what you do at your own businesses, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I think it was kind of more like, can we give Jody some insight on, you know, what we each have encountered or have dealt with before? We feel like this is not really considered a nonprofit, but really a government entity, so the regulations don't, there actually aren't any requirements to provide any of that, but if there's anything that you guys do, be curious to know. You know, for us, part-time, you can take time off, you just don't get paid
Right.
for it.
Yeah, no,
So I just wanted to see if anyone had any other experiences to share, before Jody comes forward with a recommendation.
I think, you know, I mean, in the nonprofit sector, I think smaller organizations tend to follow.
I think the required 40 hours is what the requirement is for nonprofits,
Of paid time
off,
Okay.
paid sick time.
For
So
part-time
that's,
people.
yeah. Yeah, so that was news to
Yeah,
me.
that's the, on the New York State,
Yes.
Department of Labor side.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering, we could, I mean, I've seen prorating, you know, I mean,
Mhm.
where,
yeah,
you know, they basically, depending on the hours, they accrue a certain number and you know, but for a part-time employee, the scale would be, you know, essentially 50% of a full-time
full-time,
employee.
yeah.
You know, so
If
I
you're gonna do
think,
something, that would be,
yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be unreasonable. It's just, I think what, you know, I think it makes our employment more attractive for a
Yeah.
part-time employee position that would be more, that ultimately is probably a more difficult position to fill.
Yeah.
So,
I agree, Andrew. I mean, that's what I do with my part-timers. In fact, they're probably more valuable than the full-time, but I just prorate it to what their hours that they work. I mean, I
We
give them the
won't tell
same.
your employees that. Do you use a mathematical equation?
It's
for
hard to
that?
find. What was that?
Do you use just a straight accrual or do you do like a mathematical profactor?
I just do straight accrual. It's pretty balanced. I mean, without getting into details of someone works 27 hours or 30, it's just a straight. So people know, they like to know exactly what they're going to get. It makes it a lot
Right.
easier.
True.
So
Yes.
I'm small. I mean, I only have 14 employees, so it's kind of small, but it's hard to find, like Andrew said, it's hard to find that gap. You need the fill gap to find those part-time people to want to do anything, you know. It's hard enough full-time, but to fill that part-time is difficult, and it's definitely helped me by knowing that they get their sick day and bereavement days and their, you know, their vacation time and holiday time. So it's
well, scarcity makes things more valuable. And
Correct.
gateway helps, so we pay, you know, figure out how deep in the water your hook ought to be.
Yeah, yeah.
As another sidebar, just wondering if staff has contacted any other IDA to see what they do.
We have not, no.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a really good recommendation.
Yeah, because IDs are kind of unique,
Yeah,
pseudo-governmental. Great.
Anything else?
no, I'm, so, okay, yeah, so I'm assuming we're not gonna come out of executive session? I mean, to come back into, Any
We're not
business?
making any, yeah, no.
we won't take any action.
There's no action.
Can't take action.
Executive session for
It's
conversation.
illegal to take action.
Well, we come out.
No,
I
I'm
think he's
saying
would we come out.
I'm just saying, I'm assuming we're gonna adjourn
Yeah.
Without taking
in the
action.
executive session. We're not gonna reconvene.
After she says it.
So I'm gonna make a motion, for executive session for proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of property.
I would second that motion.
Okay, who do you want in?
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you,
week.
Larry.
Thank
Hey, Larry.
Staff and council can say.
So Larry's off, and you off it,
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
and you unrecorded or paused it.
We are saying.
Yeah, let's just come out. You can just close it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no action taken.
Definitely, you're supposed to come out and close it.
Yeah, right.
We're, for our meetings, sometimes we don't reconvene.
Well, we're recording, so if you want to just adjourn.
Yeah, we were doing that under governance technically?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I guess we're motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
David,
you can adjourn.
205. You know where the
We had, we
propane
made
pipeline
a
goes
first
across?
forum for governance.
Just past here
before
toward
we did
Lawrence.
Oh, God.